I'm David Rose, and here's a look at some of the cases for Crime Stoppers featured on Washington's Most Wanted. Starting with the hunt for a fugitive in King County, accused of violating a domestic violence no-contact order by kicking down a woman's door and punching her in the head. Deputies say Delante Bonner was waiting for that woman when she arrived home on March 28th. Detectives say she ran into her apartment, locked the door, and barricaded it.
Delante began kicking the door. He was able to finally force the door open. He got inside of the residence where he wasn't supposed to be. Once he got inside, then he went and took a few items from her apartment. And prior to leaving, he punched the victim in the face with a closed fist on her left temple, causing pain, and also she had a hard time opening her mouth, so it caused a lot of pain to her jaw area as well.
Now, all of this happened while Bonner was awaiting trial for domestic violence and malicious mischief involving the same victim. He also has a pending case for animal cruelty in Lakewood with an active warrant for his arrest and a charge pending in Seattle Municipal Court for 2 counts of assault. His criminal history includes convictions for theft, assault, and attempted assault. In the most recent domestic violence burglary case, deputies say Bonner left before officers arrived.
He has a $200,000 warrant for his arrest. The court's concern, according to the paperwork, is that they're worried that he's likely to not listen to court orders. He's already violating the no contact order, and he could go again and assault the victim again. So in fear for her safety, we need to get him back behind bars as soon as we can.
Delante Bonner is 27 years old. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighs 180 pounds. Detectives say he's been known to hang out in the southeast King County area. He has lived in Seattle and Renton in the past. If you can tell deputies where to find him, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Call the hotline at 1-800-222-TIPS or text the information through the P3 Tips app that you can download to your cell phone for free. It is completely anonymous. Tonight, major crimes detectives with the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office are asking for your help. They're trying to find this missing woman. It is a mystery to what happened to her. She simply vanished. And now the family of Kenna Harris and Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound are partnering to offer a large cash reward for any information on where Kenna went. Now take a look at this surveillance image showing the 25-year-old on March 31st taking a community transit bus to the city of Snohomish. She lives in Monroe with her parents, and she didn't show up for work that day. She was carrying a light green yoga mat, a Decine backpack with light blue and yellow accents. Detectives say Kenna was last seen at the Subway restaurant in Snohomish on Bickford Avenue about 2 p.m. that day. Her cell phone has been powered off, and detectives have not been able to find anything suspicious yet on her computer. But they are very concerned for her safety. Kenna's family says she's a survivor of a high-speed rollover that left her with cognitive and memory issues as well as spinal injuries. She's friendly, and she's got a contagious laugh.
As far as we know, on the day that she was turned up missing, she had all her medications with her, so it was a very normal day. But we really want to find her. She gets on a bus, ends up in Snohomish, goes to a Subway shop, and then just disappears off the grid. No phone records that we can track, no nothing. Now, Crime Stoppers is offering up to $1,000 on this case, but in addition, the family and friends are offering an additional $4,000 for any information that leads to her location. We hope that this reward poster will kind of make somebody's mind go, yeah, I saw that gal and I remember where, or she was in a vehicle. She may be fine, and in fact, Kenna, if you're watching this show, at least take the time to call and tell us you're safe.
Well, her family is very worried. Detectives are stumped, and they're hoping you can give them some leads to follow up on. Kenna's mom has created this flyer. Look in the bottom right corner there. You'll see a barcode. You can use that. It'll take you to a special Facebook page, and you can follow any developments. I'm going to put this flyer in our story on the website catchwmw.com with the rest of our cases. Just look for Kenna's story. You'll be able to go to that flyer so you can easily access it. Kenna is 5 feet 8 inches tall. She's got short reddish brown hair and hazel green eyes. She was last seen wearing a black down waist-length coat, gray knit hat, blue jeans, a black scarf, and black Brooks sneakers. If you know where Kenna Harris is, or you have any information at all that can help Snohomish County Sheriff's detectives and her family just figure out if she's okay, you can call 911 or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. You can do that through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or at p3tips.com. Again, there's a cash reward of up to $5,000 if you can help detectives find Kenna. Well, a posting on the Pierce County Sheriff's Department's Facebook page on May 1st says it all for this next case. Stop stealing from kids. When you steal from a school, you are stealing from kids. Stop it. Detectives are hoping you can help identify this pair of suspects carrying bolt cutters. They stole expensive rolls of roofing material from Cougar Mountain Middle School in Graham. This was around 3:30 a.m. on April 27th. Now, the roofing material they took is the Suprema Lastabond brand. Detectives say it's not sold in stores, and the thieves seem to be very specific about the rolls that they took and loaded into a two-tone Ford pickup truck that they drove off with.
Well, it's really unfortunate when you're stealing from a school or stuff that belongs to kids, because that usually takes a lot of money to replace, was done through fundraisers, so it's pretty low. And so we'd like to figure out who did it, see if we can get the stuff back or hold somebody accountable. Just because we are in the way it is right now, it doesn't mean that if we find you, there's still not going to be ramifications, because we are out still looking for commercial burglars, looking for thieves.
So if you have any information on who these suspects are or where deputies can find that two-tone Ford pickup truck, please submit that information right now to Crime Stoppers of Tacoma, Pierce County. You can do it through the P3 Tips app, or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS. They'll pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000 if your tip leads to the arrest of either of these suspects. Now, Seattle police really need your help to identify a suspect wanted in 3 armed robberies. Here's the best look at him from surveillance video taken on a Metro bus last month. Seattle police say he and the 18-year-old man sitting there on the left across from him, named Dequarius Smith, approached 3 different vehicles, pointed guns at the drivers, and demanded their wallets, cell phones, and cash. 2 of the victims were pistol whipped. Dequarius, who's also known as DQ, has been arrested and charged with 3 counts of robbery in the first degree. The 14-year-old girl seen getting on the bus with them has also been arrested and charged with 3 counts of robbery after she confessed to getting the victims to pull their cars over to stop. And police say DQ and the 14-year-old both confessed to the robberies, but they would not identify that 3rd suspect.
It tells me this guy is probably the most dangerous of the 3. He's armed. As far as we know, he's out there on the street. He's dangerous. I think the other 2 are scared of this guy.
Well, the unidentified suspect with DQ and the girl spent most of that 3-minute bus ride to 105th and Aurora Avenue eating a bag of potato chips. He was wearing a black hoodie with a gray cap under it. Detectives believe he hangs out in the downtown Seattle area or around Pioneer Square or possibly the International District. If you know his name, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Somebody's got to know who this guy is running around with DQ. You will never be asked to give your name. Now, detectives say Dequarius and the 14-year-old girl were both identified thanks to Washington's most wanted viewer tips to Crime Stoppers. And that brings the total number of suspects you have helped catch to 1,154. Slow down, please. And if you do get into an accident, don't leave the scene. That's the message from law enforcement tonight, after drivers are speeding on emptier than usual roads and causing crashes. Take a look at this dash cam video as a speeding white Acura TL sideswipes a BMW on State Route 2 on the trestle heading into Everett. The driver, in a car with no license plates, pumps the brakes and then takes off, reaching high speeds. Now, troopers are asking for the public's help to identify that female hit-and-run driver. She eventually pulled over, and here she got out of her vehicle and approached the victim's car. Then she looked at the damage to her Acura, then jumped back into her vehicle and took off again. The victim's in-car camera was able to get a really good look at the face of this suspect. Police say she did $11,000 worth of damage to the victim's BMW.
Went up over this panel, and then there was kind of a little, it skipped this part, but hit it really hard in this area here and in the front.
Martin Lurch just got his BMW back from the body shop after a speeding driver hit him on April 5th.
As she passed me, she basically sideswiped me and came in front of me, stepped on the brakes briefly. I figured we would be pulling over, but she continued to step on the gas. drove away.
He pursued her as she hit excessive speeds and then took the exit into Everett. She got out, approached his car, and he says she tried to lay the blame on a dark-colored BMW that you see on Martin's dash cam passing him before he was hit.
She said, he cut me off. And I said, well, wait a second, you guys were racing down the freeway and you hit me as you passed me.
Martin's dash cam shows her angry reaction when she sees all the damage to the side of her Acura.
They were able to talk briefly, and when the victim told the driver of the Acura that he had dash cam video of this crash, the driver of the Acura fled the scene at this point.
Washington State Patrol Trooper Heather Axman says accidents are going to happen, even now when there's less traffic. But leaving the scene is a crime.
We are hoping that with the picture of this car and with the dash cam video that he was able to get of the driver, that somebody will know who she is so that we can simply go talk to her and get her side of the story.
If you do something dumb, just own up to it, stop, and let your insurance take care of it.
Fortunately, Martin wasn't injured, and while he did have to pay his insurance premium to get his car fixed, he's more worried that someone could have gotten seriously hurt or even killed.
This young lady had another passenger in the car. Either her younger sister or her daughter was in the front passenger seat who opened the door and actually apologized to me.
Well, if you recognize the hit-and-run driver or her white Acura, please submit an anonymous tip right now to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. You can do that through the P3 Tips app or your cell phone, or call 1-800-222-TIPS. That's a preview of some of the cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted. So join us tonight, 11 o'clock on Q13 Fox. Also airs Saturday night at 9:30 on Joe TV and 10:30 on Q13 Fox. And we're a statewide crime-fighting machine thanks to your help. So tune in Yakima, Spokane, and the Tri-Cities on Fox stations at 10:30 p.m. Saturday night. Together, we can make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.